Welcome everybody, and thank you for joining us for today's CITI program webinar. Today's topic is managing conflicts with your dissertation chair, and it's presented by Dr. Lavina Wilkin. Just a few notes. This webinar will be recorded and the recording will be available on the CITI program's website. Now, let me tell you about today's presenter. Dr. Lavina Wilkin is the Director of PhD and Graduate Management Programs at Sullivan University. Dr. Wilkin has facilitated workshops on workplace bullying, forgiveness, and the peace model of conflict management. She's co-editor of From Discord to Harmony, Making Your Workplace Hum, and she also is the editor of the Journal of Conflict Management. Lavina recently also authored the conflict management course for the CITI program.
And Jamie, when you first invited me to facilitate a webinar on managing conflicts with your dissertation chair, I couldn't help but think back to some of my own challenges as I navigated my dissertation, and also stories that I've heard along the way from several colleagues as they completed their dissertation research. And I thought about what tools would have helped me better navigate conflict situations with my chair. So based on these experiences, I offer 3 objectives for today's webinar. The first is identify the roles, responsibilities, and expectations from the dissertation committee members, the chair, and for you as the candidate. Second, communicate respectfully, even when emotions are high. And then third, use self-advocacy to assert yourself professionally, and we'll talk a little bit about that. So just how prevalent is conflict between doctoral candidates and their chairs? According to Carter's article on the higher ed site, 50% of students who enter a doctoral program don't complete it. And some of the cited reasons they leave include burnout and stress, a real lack of support and mentorship from their dissertation chairs, and conflicts between dissertation committees and the dissertation chair. And most of you will likely agree that earning a doctorate is not for the faint of heart. It is stressful, yet it can be a very rewarding process, even though it can lead to burnout. When you reach candidacy, some of that stress can be somewhat mediated if you have the support and mentorship and you have frequent communication with your chair. So I believe one of the most important decisions doctoral candidates make is their committee selection, especially the person who will chair your committee. But where do you start? First, consider a well-balanced approach. A well-balanced approach to committee selection is important to ensure that you have people on your committee who will assist you with theory, with methods, and with content analysis. Next, I think it's really important to get to know faculty members early in your program. And you might do this by working as a research assistant or scheduling meetings with various faculty members. You can do that either virtually or on campus. And if your university offers retreats or campus events, try to attend as many of those as you can. And begin to develop that rapport with faculty. So even the best laid plans go awry. You can select your perfect dream committee. You can understand everybody's responsibilities. You can have a fantastic research project. You can develop a doable, excellent timeline. You can listen with an open mind and not take feedback personally. And unfortunately, conflicts will still happen. And based on my own experiences and through things that I've read and my communications with others, the number one reason that these conflicts occur is that feedback is not provided in a timely manner. So, what are some strategies you can use when these inevitable conflicts occur? If the feedback is slow coming from your chair, I think a polite email that simply says, I realize you have a lot going on. I want to be respectful of your time. would it be possible for us to schedule some time to talk about my chapter revisions? I'm really anxious to move forward, and your feedback is incredibly important to me. If the feedback is slow coming from a committee member, then refer back to the expectations set when you started the dissertation process and you had that initial meeting. Oftentimes, a note from the chair just provides a gentle nudge that's neat, and that may be all that's needed. So, what happens when you've exhausted all of these tips and strategies for dealing with conflict with your chair and your progress is still impeded? I would say, once again, try to set up a meeting and document this attempt. If you don't get a response from your chair, or he or she keeps delaying a meeting, it might be necessary to meet with the program dean or director and explore your options. But document that you have tried. Send that email. I sent a request to see if we could meet Friday at 2:00. I didn't get a response. Is Monday at 1 a better day? You've got that documented, and you've got it documented that you haven't received a response. When you meet with a program dean or director, it's so important to not criticize your chair and to be extremely professional. And it can be tempting to criticize because that person is delaying our progress. In some cases, it might be necessary to explore replacing your chair. This is a decision, however, that should not be made easily, because if you replace your chair, you may have to reframe some or a lot of your study to appease your new chair. In putting together this webinar, I reviewed several universities' policies. Be open to any feedback that they offer you and listen to understand, listen to that feedback. If you have any questions about it, ask those questions. If you don't agree with it, discuss your thoughts and your ideas. And if you have to make changes, make them. But remember the reasons you're pursuing this degree.
I also invite everyone to review our content offerings regularly, as we continually are adding new courses and webinars in various areas of research, ethics, compliance, and professional development.